Alright, this is part one of my personal project video. This is just going to outline how I built the hull and the tools that I used to build it. So really quickly we're going to go over the tools. We have two really basic measurement tools. This is a bendable measuring stick, and this is a square. It has a perfect 90 degrees so you can measure things on a boat without getting off a line. We used a level to make sure that the hull stayed level when we were building it. We used this Hilti power drill. We used it just screwing one or two screws. We didn't use this very often. We used this right here quite a bit actually. It's a bandsaw, I guess that's what it's called. So this right here was very useful, and we used this yarn to make a center line down the boat, and it's an exact center of the plywood, and it just makes sure that you're not going to go off in a diagonal whenever you're building the boat, if that makes any sense. If you come over here, you can see some of the wood that we cut off. These are the strips that we cut off the sides to make this right here. We also used this right here. It's called Gorilla Glue. It's an expanding epoxy, and if you want to come show them this is the horizontal center line. This is where we cleated two pieces of plywood together. You can see that it's a pretty ugly line right now, but once we sand it down, it should be nice and smooth. But pretty much what we did is we cleated it with a spare strip of wood that we had cut off from the other end, and we just screwed it in and Gorilla Glued that seam so that it wouldn't leak, essentially. And it held the two. Obviously, it holds the two pieces of wood together very nicely. Right here we have a piece of wood that is obviously not a very professional tool, but it's called a furring strip, and you have to cut it off of this wood right here to make sure that it has the same pliability. But you pretty much use this to you just bend it. You got to have 2 or 3 people to do it, but you just bend it, and when you bend it into the shape that you want your boat, and you draw a line, and obviously that's what we have right here. This hole took us, honestly, maybe not even 3 hours. This might have taken us 2 hours, and combined, like off and on kind of work. We didn't work it all at the same time, but right now this boat is 172.5 inches, which is 14 feet and 4 inches, pretty much, almost 5 inches. So right now this is a long boat, pretty long in canoe standards, but I changed some of the design. Originally I was going to do a flat back like I have here and a flat front, but I decided that a flat front would not cut the water good enough, and ultimately it would not be maneuverable enough. So I changed my design to a point tip like most canoes, but I kept the back the same as I had it, because on canoes you can't mount a motor because it's pointed. So I made this square so that if you wanted to, you could mount a motor. Some other tools we used in building this right here, we used this clamp. I mean, this was just to clamp down strips of wood while we were cutting, so it wasn't flopping all over the place. These weights we just used to hold down the board and make it nice and level, because when it comes off of the rack at Lowe's, it's fairly warped. The price right now is at about $70, and that's because this Gorilla Glue over here and these blades that we bought for our bandsaw, those two things alone cost us $20, which is pretty absurd, but it is what it is. And these 2 sheets of plywood cost us combined about $50. They were $23 a piece, so that was not too expensive. We'll be buying 2 more sheets of plywood to do the walls and the back and the front. So honestly, this project will probably turn out at about $150 when you include paint and painting supplies. So, other than that, that's all we did for the first part. Next time that we show you the next video, we'll have the walls mounted, and we'll probably begin painting. So, thank you.